Hello and welcome, loves, to a fresh episode today. With me is the beautiful and charming Lora Cheadle, and she has quite an extraordinary story to tell. So join us on a pilgrimage into your very own heart, the cauldron of alchemy, where wounds are turned into wisdom, and how you can come back into sacred union after betrayal. Welcome, Lora.
Oh, thank you. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. It's going to be deep.
Well, thank you. I was so excited when you reached out because it's such an extraordinary topic, I find. When I was like, okay, how are we going to weave this into a conversation with travel and everything? And then it just turned out so beautifully that I got to meet you unexpectedly in Colorado in my recent trip, which also, I mean, that was already the gateway where I'm like, why do you even question that? Like
Exactly.
things cannot be woven into the sacred alignment of places, of timelines and all of that. And so yeah, it was such a pleasure to even hug in person. And so I'm excited to have that conversation.
It was such a divine synchronicity when you said, "Oh, I'm going to be there." And it's like, "Wait a minute, I'm going to be there too." We couldn't have planned it that way.
No, no way. No, absolutely not. So yeah, please share with the audience a little bit about your background story, because also I feel it is deep, and also the path that unfolded from there is so multidimensional.
Oh, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yes. When I was growing up, I felt very connected to spirit, very connected to source. But then as I grew up, it was one of those things where, oh, well, you kind of put that behind you. You go to school, I became an attorney. Let's move into the head. Let's get real. And I practiced law for 10 years, got married, had kids, did all of the things that I was supposed to do. And, for the most part, it was good. Everything was good. It's not like something horrible happened. It's just that I felt this longing to come back to who I was, to be connected to the mystical, the magical, the divine. And I ended up really burning out and walking away from my career. And at the
Mm,
time I thought, well, this is great because now I can really start pursuing all of the things that I was so passionate about. So I did that deep dive, went back to school, became a hypnotherapist, studied. Doreen Virtue was big at the time. I became an angel therapist, did crystals, travel, like all of the things. And I thought, this this is who I am. And I've come home and I've figured it all out. Well, fast forward 23 years into my marriage, I found out my husband, who was my best friend, the person who I had more fun with, my partner, had been cheating on me for 15 years.
wow.
And I can't even describe the devastation. Everything, yeah. My whole past felt like a fraud. The whole spirituality, intuition, like that felt like a fraud. If I couldn't know this, if this didn't keep me safe, you know what I mean? Like if I how could this happen to me? I was doing it all right. And
Yeah.
yeah, it just completely threatened to devastate me. Long story, long time to heal from that. But we ended up coming back together. We're still together now. We just celebrated our
Wow.
30th anniversary. Yeah.
That was like the most beautiful thing to hear. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But it was the stripping away of everything, that going within in order to come back together. in that space of divine union, in that space of radical authenticity. And it took so much to get there. But the level that we are at now, the level of trust in spirit, the ability to look at that journey and see how it was for us, it didn't happen to us. It has led to a radical awakening for
Mm.
both of us. Yeah, radical awakening, opened up my ability to channel. We have since, traveled to all of these sacred places, but it's that constant balancing of the journey within, the journey without, digging deeper, rising higher.
I mean, that in itself is already like, whoa, okay, let's unpack that.
Right. And that's why I'm like, this is a lot. But that's the arc. That's the trajectory from complete and utter devastation from where I thought I was at my pinnacle. I thought I was living my best life. And spirit's like, oh no, you can do more.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. What was, I mean, beyond, yeah, the devastation and just like what I see is the tarot card of the tower where like literally everything crumbles.
Yes.
What is some truths that you found as the tower had deconstructed?
Oh, and I love that you use that analogy because that was exactly what it was. It felt like my whole life was a house of cards and it all fell apart. I think the biggest truth and the most painful truth was I had to build myself up from within. All of
Mm,
these things that I thought were there to keep me stable, meditation, prayer, connection, other people, community, like all of those things can go away. And I was left with me. And that's scary. But that my strength with me, with my connection, was really the only thing that I needed. And from that place, I could rebuild connection. I could rebuild relationships. I could keep seeking and keep finding because there was always something more as long as I stayed connected to my heart, my truth, my wisdom, and my ability to access everything that I needed because it was
mm,
always there.
yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I like literally am receiving these visuals now to like as a thread to to guide the conversation. So what I'm seeing is like a door that opens into the heart. And I know that we have
Yes.
spoken about this before, or also you framed it a little bit like with the title of the episode. But you know, can you describe like your personal turning point from really that losing trust in anything and everything that you thought was the most beloved to you into finding that deeper access point, that gateway into your own heart? And I almost want to say like that texture or frequency of what love truly is versus what you might have thought that it was.
Yeah. Yeah. There, with my background as an attorney, I was very academic. You do things right. You know what I mean?
Oh
You
yeah.
get Oh, yeah. You go to school, you get the highest grade you can. You achieve, you lean in, you collect achievements, and
Mm.
you perform. And I didn't even realize how much of life was really performing. And similarly, in my relationship, I I want to look good for you. I want to create a house that is nice for you. I want to have a nice relationship for us. I want to do this for our kids. Our kids are going to do this lesson and attend this school and do. It's all of this external, what we're supposed to do. And even spirituality to a point became that. It became another box to check. I will do the yoga. I will do the meditation. I will do the journaling. And yes, I was getting downloads. Yes, I was growing, but there was an aspect of that that was performative and in a very subtle way, also egotistical.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And I didn't see that at the time because I was achieving, I was growing, I was getting it. We were going the places, we were doing the things. And it's really hard to look at yourself. And when everything started falling, it was so easy to say, my husband did this. He cheated. He ruined it. He needs to look at himself. He needs to go to therapy. He was the one with a traumatic background. And to point the finger at all of the things. God didn't keep me safe. The universe didn't do this. Instead of just letting all of those things be and find that unconditional acceptance for what was. And that was that access point back to me that I truly can't change anything. I can't control anything. And my only power was the love that I had in my heart. And that I could love my husband. I could love the other women, all on this deeper soul level in order to bring more love to myself. And I had this realization that I could really let this destroy me. That if I stayed in the hate and the bitterness and the I can't believe you did this, it would fundamentally change who I was. And I was going to spend my life being bitter. And if I could find compassion was my big access point, not only for me and for the innocent, beautiful creature that I was before this happened, but also for my husband and for his wounds and for the other women and for their wounding that led them to do something so horrific. That was what was going to bring me closer to myself, to source. And that's what would allow me to rise.
Hey, everybody, if you are enjoying the show, then you would do me the biggest favor in clicking the subscribe button and engaging with my content so I can continue to deliver these beautiful conversations to you. Thank you so much. That is beautiful. And I want to go a step back before one can even reach that point of compassion. And, I feel there is many forms of betrayal. Like, it doesn't have to come down to that full experience that you had, but there is many layers to that as well. Before we can come to that choosing compassion, I feel there is a deep spiral path with the dark goddesses and like feminine rage. So I'd love for you to speak a little bit more into that.
Oh, yeah. And I love that you went to the rage because that's exactly what it was. Part of this journey for me was getting back in touch with that rage because I had kind of this belief that I could outthink it all.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. If I just read enough books and listened to enough podcasts and I could figure it out and that I wouldn't have to go there, that I could just move on and bypass all of this. You can't. And the generational rage and the feminine rage and the betrayal, the divine feminine has been betrayed in our world forever. We started off, we're the access point, we are the beginning. It all comes from the feminine. And we have been shut down and betrayed. And that rage is so real and so raw and so sacred. And I really connected with 𝘁𝗵𝗄 and that, the sacred roar to burn it all down in service of building it up right.
Yeah.
Instead of struggling with the unfairness and always trying to right the wrong, just being like, and no, we're starting fresh. And I had to start fresh within me. I had to start fresh within my marriage. I had to hold the anger and the unfairness of my mother and grandmother and my entire ancestral line and the entire feminine lineage. Yeah. And transmute that. And I was really on the cusp of this rage is going to destroy me. And it's going to destroy my relationship, and we could burn each other up and really create destruction. Or we can use the power of this rage to alchemize it into something deeper that will have staying power not only for us, but for future generations.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is almost even a conscious choice in every single moment because that rage is so close to the surface.
Consuming, yes.
Yes.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And I had to learn how to let that rage come out and not destroy me or others.
How did you do that?
I have a rage practice that I use where I firmly root my feet into Gaia. She holds me. She is my support. I connect to the sky and I let that rage come up and come through me. And I let it come out my voice. I let it come out my throat chakra. I let it come out of me. And how I see it come out is in sparks. It is not a flame like a flamethrower that's going to burn you or whatever is in my path, but it is these sparks that enliven me. And I see these sparks creating fire of change elsewhere. And I stay rooted and I stay connected because if I collapse or crumble, it moves me to despair. And if I lean into blame, it becomes that flamethrower that burns down whatever that thing is that I'm blaming. And if I stay as that sparkler, my sparks I send with intention to create change, to enliven, to bring love and power and energy so wrongs can be righted everywhere in the past, in the present, in the future, to the side. And when I stay connected to that fire of change, those sparks of energy, my rage becomes softened and it becomes powerful all at the same time, but it is constructive and not destructive.
The rage sparkler. It actually feels like a fun exercise, so I might want to practice that.
It is fun because so often I'll notice sparks that have landed behind me that I wasn't aware of. And I'm like, I lit something on fire there. And that's the change and the growth. And I don't have to see it all. I trust that this rage is lighting fires and energizing things that I wasn't even aware of.
Yeah. Yeah. I find it really interesting how you constantly speak about this victim perpetrator perspective where it's none. Well, it's all, but it's none, right? Ultimately.
Yes.
and not or to bring also in the savior, because it's really that construct of all three of them. I'd be super curious to hear from you what you have learned along the journey of like working through that grief, working through the rage and also compassion, where you see yourself, you see your own woundings, you see the collective woundings of the feminine. But I am assuming you also, because of the consciousness that you're holding, and with that you were navigating it, you see all the woundings of the divine masculine.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd be curious, like what, and I think this is very helpful for a lot of women, well, also for men, but also for a lot of women, when we can come from that perspective to see it, to acknowledge it, and to help transform it. So what are some aspects that you found? What are some woundings that you found?
Yeah, I love that you went there for a couple of reasons. One, and I'll say more about this later, this opened up in me a connection to channeling. And I channel a group of entities called the librarians, and they hold the records of the wounds that we experience.
Oh,
So it can
wow.
be the,
I
yeah,
have, yeah, truth jolts.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So like that, the wound of abandonment, the wound of betrayal, the wound of persecution, all of those different wounds, they hold the records of. And I can say more about that later. But yes, we have so much conditioning to be a woman, to be a man, and that conditioning brings so much wounding. And a little backstory, my husband had a severely traumatic childhood. He was lived in a foster home in high school. He suffered poverty, neglect, abuse, all of those things. And as the man, he felt like he had to be strong and masculine, more toxic masculine than sacred masculine. I have to have it figured out. Yeah, I
Mhm.
have to lead. I cannot show my weakness. And I, from my conditioning too, thought, well, he is the strong man.
Mm.
He doesn't have emotions. He's my rock. And he was my rock. But what I didn't see is that he did have wounding. He was afraid. He was embarrassed. He was ashamed. He never felt that he could do enough. He felt like, as the man, he had to know it all and he had to be able to do it all with stoicism and strength. And it was the perfect clash of toxic masculine and toxic feminine. And how it feels energetically is like this spiral into the heart of each other, to realize he has tender emotions. He should be able to cry. Men should cry. Men should feel deeply. Men should be confused. Men get wounded too. And I was so focused on the feminine and that we get persecuted and that we're not heard
Yeah,
and I'm not seen, that I never saw he had wounds too. I
yeah.
thought he was here to lift me up. You're the masculine, hold me up. But yes, but he also has that pain too. And it's continues to be a dance for us to unpack, for us to each see in society, in the world, where is our strength? Where is our connection? And our connection is through our cracks. Our connection is through our vulnerability. Our connection is sharing, here is my wound, hold my wound with tenderness. And oh boy, is it hard to raise up your wound to somebody else and to say, here, hold this for me. And I have so much more understanding now for what we do to men
Mm.
and this position that we have put them in. Patriarchy is so, it's just as bad for men as it is for women. And then they have this fear of losing it and what it means to lose this one up position and it creates even more wounds.
Hmm.
But our way through it is not linear. It's messy, but it feels so good to finally show yourself, to show myself, and to have him show himself, and to just be so raw and vulnerable together. And it's just this, it's the balance. It's the two sides of the coin. It's the, yin and the yang. It's such a perfect balance of pain and power and wounding. And when we can hold each other, that's where that true unconditional love shines through. And oh boy, unconditional, you know, that's a tough one.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
So, when we see that, and it's the first time also that I heard this when you said it or described it to me, that this path of, yes, there's the betrayal, but it's also, the spiraling or falling into self really as that sacred initiation. And I'm sure that, I mean, you have quite an extraordinary story, but I'm sure that every woman that comes to you seeking support has a multi-layered story in
Yeah.
herself. And so when I look at, just in general, kind of like the path of the initiate, there is these certain gates that we pass. So what would
Yes.
you say for that betrayal journey or forgiveness, compassion journey? What are these gates and how do
Yeah.
we meet them?
Exactly. We meet them messily. We just do. It is an interesting journey because we do have to feel the pain. We do have to feel the rage. And that is that first gate, is allowing ourselves to feel fully, because none of us want to feel pain. And
Mm.
how do I feel this level of despair? And how do I feel this level of rage and anger? That's that first gate of it, is allowing yourself to be where you're at and not jumping ahead and trying to be where you want to be. Holding that vision, but allowing yourself to feel. And then it is this dance of self and other. I do have to look at other people, but I also have to look at myself. And I do have to look at this wound of betrayal. And I do have to look like that at the feminine wounding, the masculine wounding, the narrative around this. But it all spirals back in. That last gate is, how have I betrayed myself? You know, so within, so without, as above, so below. So going through the pain, seeing everything that's out there, making sense of everything that's out there, and then bringing it back home. How is this mirrored in my consciousness? How is this mirrored in my DNA? How am I betraying myself by living up to somebody else's standards? How am I betraying myself by not leaning into what I know is true inside, but instead of doing what I am supposed to do? And then I think the next step is, how do I take this wisdom and embody this wisdom of feeling everything, of looking outside of myself, of looking inside of myself, and then carrying that wisdom forward, not forcing it onto other people, but carrying it forward, holding the light so others can walk this path too, and they don't get stuck in grief. They don't get stuck in rage. They don't get stuck in that blaming everybody else outside of them, of fixing everybody else's problems, but they can come back home to themselves internally, and they can rise up inside and then carry the light for others as well.
It's that I'm getting that visual again that you gave us about the rage sparkler, just like it transforms it, like and truly in this light radiator. It's it's really funny. Usually I don't get that many visuals during a conversation, but this one it's very vivid. So I'm kind of like living through what you're talking us through. There was something else, but now it kind of like slipped. Okay.
Was it the librarians? Going back to that?
Oh, we are coming to them, definitely. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. I want to know all about them. No, I was more like I feel what you spoke into is really that reclaiming of self and almost like collecting back the pieces and like, yeah, putting oneself back together again so you can meet the other person from a different viewpoint.
Yeah, and I love that you said that too, because that's what it is. We want to fix other people. That's so much easier to take care of other people, isn't it? And doing the work yourself. And then having the belief that because I've done all this work myself, now I can meet anybody. And I think that's something that's really important. My husband did his own journey, his own work. I did my own journey, my own work. And then when we met together, then that also became that divine union of now we have got this journey together. And not all partnerships follow that same path, and that's okay. But being with a conscious partner, being with somebody who is willing to do their own work, and then having the wisdom to discern, yes, we can move forward together in this, or no, bless and release. There is no blame there. We're all on our own path at our own timing. And whether our partners come with us or come find this path later on, none of that really matters. It's staying true to yourself in the moment and walking your path at the time that it is laid out for you.
Mm, that's beautifully said. Yeah. Okay. Before we dive into the second part, I do have some what I call rapid start fire questions for you. So it's in the style of kind of like either or I'll ask you a question and you just blurt out whatever is alive for you right now.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Okay, let's start. Rage as medicine or compassion as mastery?
Compassion is mastery.
Ooh, okay. Forgiveness or fierce boundaries first?
Oh, fierce boundaries.
Yay, that was clear. Thank you. Speaking your truth or sitting in sacred silence?
Silence, sacred silence.
Yay. Wow. I can learn so much from you. Thank you. Healing in solitude or through sisterhood?
Sisterhood.
Rebuilding trust or releasing the past entirely?
Ooh, now that's a tough one. I think rebuilding trust.
Okay. I guess I know the answer for the next one already. Betrayal as ending or betrayal as initiation?
Initiation, absolutely.
Next one is two becoming one or one becoming whole.
Ooh, one becoming whole.
Yay. Your go-to guide when it gets hard.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think that's that sacred silence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a tough one. There's several things because it's sacred silence, but it's in movement. I need to move to process. I need to be outside moving. I need to be flowing, but in that space of sacred silence.
Beautiful. Thank you. There's a lot of wisdom here. People will re-listen to that. That was good.
Yeah, those were great
And
questions.
well, those are great answers. Thank you. And I feel kind of like what you said with this last question. Of course, I always like need to or I'm curious how nature or how even a sacred site or a certain landscape has supported you through that process. And sometimes, I feel it's even it's on an unconscious level, but I feel that you might have like some very specific conscious answers to that.
Yeah, yeah. We have done so much sacred travel. And after this experience, we decided that every year, on or around our anniversary, we would go to a sacred site and see what that site had to offer us.
Oh my goodness. What
Yeah.
a great ritual.
Yeah, yeah, because there is so much wisdom in the earth, in the energy, in the power of these sites is undeniable. And sometimes we go with intention. Like we went to Peru and we had some clear intentions around that. And we got remarried by a shaman there and we did a plant medicine
Wow.
journey. And we walked through many of the sacred gates, embodying walking through. We have done, Crestone in Colorado. There's a lot of energy there. We've done Mount Shasta. We've done all of these different sites with the intention of we are here, we are present. Yes, we've got some clear intentions based on what we know about the site, but we are also open to the magic and to the mystery of show me. Show me what I don't see. Show me what I am too close to. Heal me, help me. And then it was interesting too, because last year I felt the strong call to go to Egypt alone. And
Hmm.
instead of having a pilgrimage together, I went alone. And I trusted the I trusted the energy of the sites. I trusted the energy of the group. And it was profoundly life altering. And it was also an exercise in that deep trust that he was supposed to step back on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a journey, both traversing the planet and traversing the terrain of our hearts and our souls to see what unfolds. And it continues to unfold. There continues to be more wisdom, more mystery, because the more mystery you solve, the more mystery you unlock.
So I feel called to to ask, and feel free to share to whatever like extent or depth you want to go here. But I also feel every time, I go to Egypt, like I come back another person. And
Oh, yeah.
sometimes it's even hard for myself to understand like what happens. So I'm not even assuming or expecting my partner to.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that, like these energetic threads and the shared nervous system that we have, it does have an effect. And sometimes it also, whatever it is that we share, right? The joys, but also the fear, like gets amplified in there. And so I'd be curious to hear how that solo journey was when you returned. How did that affect your divine union?
Yeah. Initially, when you come back, for me, I feel like I'm on another planet.
Oh
And
yeah.
and oh, yeah. And initially, it was kind of hard to connect because how do you put into words this entire experience?
You cannot.
So, yeah, you absolutely cannot. So at first, it's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm happy to see you. This is wonderful." But it took about a week to reintegrate even enough to start sharing some of the deeper stories. We started on that surface level. Let's look at some of the pictures. Yay! Let's look at the things that you brought home. Yay! Then you have to softly get into some of the experiences and what it means. When I was there, light language opened up for me. And I had to talk about that before
Mhm.
I could share that with him. we can't just go right to the heart. That's too
Yeah.
abrupt. Yeah. So we had to ease our way in.
I love that. So it's again what you said, and also you made that hand movement, and I'm seeing, the spiral DNA that like comes together in the heart. So it's, yeah,
Yeah.
this amalgamation that comes in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Because it's profound. And then just like you talk about the shared nervous system, just breathing together. And sometimes experiences have no words. Sometimes it would be like, touch my heart and I'm going to breathe. And,
hmm
just hearing call to prayer in Egypt, the way it fills your senses, your ears, just hearing that chanting. I went on YouTube and I found, some different calls to prayer. And I'm like, just listen to this. And I'm sitting at the temple and the sun has not even risen yet, and there's stars, and you hear the call to prayer rolling across the valley. I mean, let me just create as much of this experience as I can for you, but you just have to feel the sensation. Put your hands on my heart, feel it in my heart, and allow that frequency to change you as well.
yes, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is.
Mhm. Mhm. And just his
Mhm.
willingness, another person's willingness to sit with that and to allow themselves to be changed. That's part of it
Mhm.
too.
Mhm. Mhm. And not resist if there is resistance.
Oh, exactly. And it's so easy to resist, to be like, oh, yeah, well, I'll go to Egypt later too. It'll be great. Or I don't get it, whatever. Just to soften into it and to allow. That allowing, willing to allow is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel it's time to open the door to the librarians, which, again, before you told me about them, I had never heard of them. And what I like, without knowing anything, what I'm sensing, what I'm feeling is that it's really this vast consciousness or akashic field of, and then you filled in the gap of like the woundings
Yes.
and so on and so forth. So share a little bit about these. Is it more galactic guardians, or how would you describe it?
Yeah, yeah. They're a collective. Definitely they're galactic guardians, but there's also earth-based entities as well. And you're exactly right. It is the Akashic field. And when we think about the Akashic field, so often we think about our own personal records. This is my records of my soul's journey and what I have done. But what we don't think about as often is it is a collective field as well. How many humans have come to Earth to experience persecution, to
Yeah.
experience the wound of abandonment, to experience, and as a collective, as we grow and experience these lessons, we can learn from each other. So, what the librarians do is they collect the wisdom learned from all of these souls around a certain lesson. So, I don't have to do it all myself. I can pass this wisdom down my lineage, down your lineage, and we can start healing these wounds. And what the librarians tell me is as we as a collective have gone through these things, these lessons will disappear from the earth field. There are many lessons that we're ushering out. We've learned them, we're processing them. Like war. War is a lesson right now that is kind of on the cusp, they tell me,
Mm,
of moving out of our field. We're leaning into it heavily right now as humanity to kind of decide, is this something we want to keep in our collective or
yeah.
not? Can we learn? Please, let's learn. Please, let's move this one out. But when I started realizing I'm not just doing this work for me, that yes, this work benefits my soul, but I'm also doing this for the collective.
hmm
It gives
hmm
me that higher level of responsibility and accountability. It
Hmm.
makes even more meaning of it because, yes, let's all talk about this wound of betrayal. Here's what I've learned.
Hmm.
Here's what you've learned. Let's all move through it. All right, now let's close the book on this wound and let's move on.
How did you get in contact with them?
Do you know what's so funny? Now I know I have been in contact with them my whole life.
Oh, I think so. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I have
Oh,
no
yeah.
doubt about it.
There has always been a voice that comes in kind of from the left side, hits me in the middle of the head. Bam, it's just information that I know.
Incoming message.
Yeah, exactly. And at various points in my life, I have trusted them more and I have trusted them less. And it was after betrayal, I started hearing them more clearly, more loudly, more persistently. And that it wasn't until I said, "Okay, I hear you, but who are you? Is this Laura's higher self? Who are you? Because I know who you are." And that's when they said, "We are a collective." And yes, Laura's higher self, Laura's soul sits among us. But
Mm.
we are guardians of the earth realm, of the Akashic field. We hold these records. And yes, these lessons are being explored in other dimensions as well, and they hold the collective records. And of course, I was on a flight. I was on a flight when that information came in, and it was really interesting because then I had this overwhelming urge to start Googling, and I was, like, on my flight, and I was like, "Can I get internet access? I wanna start Googling." And I was having almost like this panic moment, and they said, "You're going to the wrong place, like, Google us,
We
Google
here.
within. You've got the field here. You don't need the internet. We are the internet. We are the field that connects it all." And I was like, "Ah, but I wanna Google."
Yes, I know this one. It's so ironic and it's so funny.
Yes.
But again, I just want to, reiterate the fact that you received this during flight because, like, honestly, flying for me is such a liminal space where I receive so much information. And it's also oftentimes a place where, in that in between state, I feel I can access so much of the next like visions and steps that are unfolding. And
Yes.
and again, if we like, yeah, we can, and not to say that this is any bad or so, but we can like numb ourselves with all the entertainment that's happening, or we can just like tune in into that
Yes.
net. Um,
Yes.
there's a lot that's going on there as well. So
Yeah, yeah, and like that, they were telling me this Earth technology that we're developing mirrors the technology of the soul that we already have out there.
yes,
And instead of being so harnessed into this Earth realm to expand and connect, because it's all out there. And if we need that technology to see it, to feel it, that's great. Use that technology to see it and feel it, but to realize that it's there.
yeah, wow. So you are offering frequent channelings, and we are putting a link down. It's no, share it again. It's called
Coffee with the librarians.
Coffee with the
Coffee with
Librarian.
Yeah,
That's
I
that's
do
fun as
yeah,
well.
exactly. Yeah, I do monthly I send out monthly energy updates with what's going on. This past month, it was crazy too because I went to do this month's and they launched me into the next 3 months. So we've
Oh
I
yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it's just nice to have that energetic blueprint. It's your travel map, you don't have to follow it, but you kinda know what's up, so when you look up and you find yourself somewhere, you're like, "Oh, I remember this is where I'm at right now." It just helps give you that anchor. We talk about different things anchor us. A map anchors us, a plan anchors us, and it can give us that anchor so we can better know that internal terrain so we can assess what's coming up for us in each
Yeah.
upcoming month.
Yeah. Amazing. So yeah, everybody, if you're interested, please go to the site. We're going to link it below, and then you'll get monthly updates from the librarians and Laura. So, you know, as we were like, yeah, touching a little bit of the path, of course, the journey that unfolds when women start working with you is probably a lot deeper, a lot messier, a lot more, yeah, beautiful and brutal is a word that I learned recently. So combining beautiful and brutal.
Love that.
So just before we close this, yeah, tell us a little bit about where can women find you and what would be a good way to start working with you if you feel that you would really love to navigate this realm of betrayal, compassion in a conscious way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a journey and it does get messy and it's for any kind of betrayal. Yes, infidelity is a big one. That's the brick wall falling on your head. But it's any kind of betrayal. My website is 𝘄𝘆cie_'/.com and it's 𝘆𝐶𝘂𝘆E. And I think the best place to start is to download my 5-step betrayal recovery guide that will just take you through the first part of this journey. And that's free. I've got somatic practices. I've got a channeling from the librarians. There's a free meditation. There's some beautiful journal prompts. And to get the free guide, just go to betrayalrecoveryguide.com and you can download that guide and all of the beautiful medicine that's in there.
That sounds great. I really love how you also, like, again, how you're giving a map, like for different layers and levels of the mind, the body, like everything, because it is such a multi-layered journey. So thanks for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I experienced in my journey is healing is multidimensional. We need it on all different levels, and I've met so many people and they're like, "Well, I'm 2 years out and I'm still having obsessive thoughts. I'm still stuck." And it's like, you don't have to be stuck, but you do have to heal on all levels. You can't outthink trauma. You can't
Yeah.
just figure it out by reading a book. You have to experience it on all different levels.
So true. Yeah. Laura, any final words of wisdom before we close this?
I think my biggest thing that I'd like to say is to keep focused on the journey, that it isn't the destination. And that once you get to the destination, there will just be another destination ahead of you. That's life. So stay in the journey and enjoy.
Wow, that enjoying part, that might be hard, but yes,
It's
yes,
hard.
savor it all in. Mm, Thank you. I really enjoyed that conversation, and I feel we touched on many things, yet it feels a little bit like scratching on the surface, and still, like, again, the visual that comes, it's like this beautiful network that just like weaves and gives multi pathways when we feel we are stuck because we feel so paralyzed, maybe to, yeah, something that feels like a betrayal or is a betrayal on some level, where it really has this also somatic effect on our nervous system, and just like to create this openness and this pathways into becoming the light radiator that you were mentioning before.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. It is scratching the surface, but keep scratching. See what's there.
Keep stretching. Ah, well, it's been such a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And we're going to be putting all the links where people can find you and your guide, and also the monthly channelings. So please, everybody, check that out. Thanks, Laura, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening. And as always, seek out the extraordinary. I'll see you next time. Bye.